All right, so now we're going to get into the nitty gritty on how we can make these things look a little bit better, and give yourself more of that professional quality that you're looking for out of some of your videos. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on an overlay to kind of organize everything that I've got on in OBS. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a combination of simple things that I already have. I have PowerPoint on my computer, so I'm going to utilize that first, and a program called GIMP, which is kind of like Photoshop, but it has a little bit less features. But the good thing that I like about GIMP is it's free. You can search GIMP on Google and you can download it onto your computer for no cost. If you have Photoshop, use it. Photoshop will probably work much better, especially if you know how to use it. I don't have Photoshop. I don't know too much about how to use it, so I'm just going to use what I have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the internet and I'm going to find myself a free to use wallpaper. The reason I use wallpaper is usually they're already in high definition formats like 1080p. So that way, whenever I put it onto computer, it looks pretty good. It's good quality. So I found this wallpaper here of a bunch of color pencils and shavings. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click a free download right here, and I'm gonna choose this one, the 19 by 20. That's pretty high definition right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that one out with a download, and I'm gonna drag this image. I'm just gonna drag it and just dump it right into my PowerPoint, and you'll be able to see that there's a little bit shorter than I wanted. So I can edit that here. I can grab the corner and I can make it bigger. One thing in regards to size, to get these to be the right width for a high definition format, if you go to themes, there's a section in PowerPoint that says themes. And over here on the left, it says page setup, slide size. And if you click widescreen 16 by 9, you will get this size frame that should fit perfectly into your window of OBS at 1080p. You can always format this picture. You can change it. You can enhance the colors. I'm just going to leave it as it is and crop it a little bit, so that way I can see my edges. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the frames for where my webcams are going to go. I'm going to have a smaller camera for my face, and then I'm going to have a larger one for my document camera to show the artwork on. So I'm just going to add a shape. I'm going to click on shape and I'm going to click on a rectangle. I'm going to add a rectangle to this. And I'm going to make this rectangle fill this entire space because I know that's going to be 1080p. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to format shape. Now I'm going to change the shape. I'm going to give it just a solid fill. I'm going to fill it in all black. And I'm going to put a nice line around it. I'm actually going to make it a gradient line. So we'll make it a linear gradient with a couple colors. Let's go with some bright colors so we can see them really well on screen. So let's do like orange. Let's just do orange and yellow, just so they show up really, really nice. And then I'm going to change the weight of my line and make it pretty thick. I want to be able to see the edge of this line very well. You can edit this any way that you want. Basically, what we're doing is we're just building a frame to go around our webcam to make it look a little bit nicer. You can also add like a 3D format to it if you wanted to. And it creates let's create a relax inset. It gives you kind of like a 3D element to that frame. When you got it to the point that you like it, you hit OK. And I've got a frame there, but I can't see my image underneath. I'm going to go here in the corner. I'm going to make it smaller so you can be able to see like the color pencil. But this is where my document camera is going to go. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this. So I'm just going to right click on it. I'm going to hit copy, and then I'll right click again, paste. So I got a second one. This time I'm going to make this one smaller. You hold the shift key while you move this. It should hold its formatting, which it does. There we go. So this one will be our smaller camera for our face. And I'll make this a little bit smaller too. Just a little bit. Once I'm done setting up these two windows, I'm going to go ahead and click File up here at the top, and I'm going to hit Save as Pictures. You can also save your presentation as well, but I'm going to save this as a picture. So I'm going to call this, we're just going to call this Color Pencil background. Actually, you know what? Let's call it color pencil overlay. And I'm going to save it to my art stream folder. And I'm going to save it as a JPEG. You can go into your options and you can double check to make sure the sizes are correct. You can see your width and height. See, it's in 1080 right there. And we're going to just save the current slide only. We're going to hit OK. And then click save. I'm going to open it using the GIMP program. So I've got GIMP opened already right here. GIMP is basically a free version of Photoshop. So I'm going to go to my files. And I'm actually just going to bring this color pencil overlay right into GIMP. And I'm just going to add it into GIMP. If I just click and drag it right from my files into GIMP, it's going to import it. And there I go. I've got GIMP ready to go. I'll make it a little bit bigger. You guys can see what's going on. First thing I'm going to do is go up here to where it says layer, transparency, add alpha channel. What this does is it gives us a base of transparency. So if I erase or delete anything from this image, it'll be transparent underneath, which is what I want to do because I want to knock these filled in black shapes right here. I want to knock them out and create windows for my overlay. So I'm just going to select the rectangle tool right here on the top left of my toolbar up here. And I'm going to click and drag and create a rectangle here. And I want to try to get my rectangle as close to my corners as I can of the base of my frame. Now keep in mind, you can do all of this in GIMP. You don't necessarily have to do it in PowerPoint. I just found that it's easier for me to make the frames in PowerPoint and then come in here and just use this tool to kind of cut out the areas I want to be transparent. It just works easier for me. There's most definitely a way that you can do it in GIMP. I just haven't figured out a way that's quite as easy as what I just did in PowerPoint. So now I'm going to right click where I selected. If you go to edit and you go to cut, it's going to cut that rectangular window right out of there. And now this is transparent. So whenever I put it onto my stream, I can put my camera behind it. I'm going to go over here into this section and do the same thing. I'm going to move this over and then resize it. First off, in the beginning of this series, I am no expert. I don't have all the answers. These are just some methods that I use. There could be some easier ones out there. There probably most definitely are. But this is what I know right now. I'm going to edit, cut that piece out. I go up here to select, none. My overlay is ready to go. If you want to add text to this, you can in GIMP as well. You can add a text tool. Let's say we just go to text tool right here. We can click down here and you can type in, let's just type in art lesson, and then you can highlight it and you can change it. Let's change the size to make it a lot bigger. Let's say like 100. What would 100 do? You can change the color. Maybe you want it to match your color pencils there. So we do something blue. Choose a blue color. You can change the font. Let's change the font too while we're here. Once you start typing in, it'll bring a bunch on here that you can type in. Let's just do Arial bold. Go with that. Then over here, I'm going to click on the move tool. Here I can click right on the letter of one of these and I can just move it anywhere that I want. There are other tutorials online that you can follow that are basically just GIMP tutorials that can help you do this. But that's all I need really. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save As. You go to Art Stream. So I got Color Pencil Overlay. So I'm going to save it as that. So I have it on my computer. And then I'm going to go to File, Export As. You want to save this as a .png. A PNG file will keep the transparency for you. So that way when you import this image into OBS, those transparent windows will be knocked out and you'll be able to put your videos in those sections. So I'm going to do color wheel overlay PNG. We're going to export it. Most of the time I don't mess with these settings. If you want to know more detail about those, there's probably some videos on YouTube that'll show you those, but I just usually leave those the same and click export. I'll quit GIMP and I'll bring OBS back over. I'm going to go ahead and add my overlay by adding an image. So add image to my sources. I'm going to call this color pencils. Color pencils. Okay. It'll ask me for my image file. So I browse. And I'll go to all my files. It might be the first one on the top. Color pencil overlay, PNG. Click open. I usually click unload image when not showing, so that way it takes a little bit of pressure off of OBS and the computer. Then I'm going to click OK. My overlay is perfect size, fits right into the box, and I can take my cameras now and I can align them into OBS. So I'm going to turn my document camera back on. I'm going to take the lock off of it so I can move it. And I'm going to move it into position. And if it's not perfect size, have it overlap a little bit. There's also ways if you find out that your camera isn't perfect size. For me, it's Option, but I think it might be Alt. If you hold the Option or Alt key and then click on one of these sides, you see how it turns green on that side? That's the crop tool where you can crop your videos to fit more within your box. Once I've got it there, I'm going to go ahead and lock that into place. And honestly, my iMac cam right here is about in the right space. I just need to make it a little bit bigger. And there I go. I've got it in place. I'll lock that in. And I've got my little overlay set up. Something that's really easy to put together. Takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, depending on how much time and effort you want to put into it. There you can see that I've got my video set up to where I can record my face. I can record whatever it is that I'm doing right here in front of me on my desk with a little bit decent quality. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you found some things that are easier or things that work best for you, you can shout those out in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, please do the same. And I hope that you guys have been able to stick around with me throughout these videos, and they've been helpful.